welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm here at PXG headquarters in Scottsdale, Arizona. Here playing golf with my buddy Joe, but today I'm going to do a fitting. I've been playing PXG clubs for a few years now, so thought, I'm here in Scottsdale, I'm going to set up a fitting and see if the clubs I currently play, the 0211s, if any of their new generational stuff now is better than what I currently play. So I'm excited to share this with you because this is important information to get out there, I think, for you golfers. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hit the like, subscribe button, and I'm excited to share this with you. Love y'all. All right, welcome here at PXG Fitting Bay number 3.
Yep, number
3. With Dayton. You're from Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
So yeah,
Yes.
Midwest boy just like me. So he's gonna be my fitter today. So Joe, do a panoramic view there. Show all that. But anyway, glad you guys are here to watch, and we're gonna get right into it. So my current driver setup is the PXG 0811X Plus with the Acra Proto 65 gram M4 shaft that I was fit for back in Kansas City. So my dispersion rate, and Joe will say, and people will see on the videos that watch my drives from the 2 courses we played, I hit the ball well driving the ball. So my new, and they even said it on my lesson, is your driver, you're not going to have that much of a problem with the new, because you're further from the ball and my spine angle will be better. Yeah, I was having trouble doing this, and hunching with the irons.
Yeah.
Well, you don't do it as much with the driver, so that's why I've been more consistent, but technology helps with the shaft, the engine.
Absolutely.
The engine, correct?
You nailed it. You nailed it.
And that's why the engine for my irons is the KBS 120. So, all right, let's see with my old head what the new Gen 0211's.
Yes, sir.
Little pull, but a good long tail for a driver.
Here's the cool thing, and this is just one shot in. On paper, maybe this is just a touch high.
Right.
But the cool thing here is if we're looking at our spin rate number, it's low. I mean, generally the optimal setting is to hit it a little bit higher, with a little bit less spin. Very, very optimal. That's all tour guys look for.
Okay.
So
if I'm recalling from my fitting for everything, but with the driver, they want it like from 12 to 16.
You nailed
That's a
it.
good optimal.
You nailed it. Yep.
And Joe, with me, he was at PGA of America because he had to spend his G.I. Joe money.
Yes.
So he went to school, so he's the green. Man, I hit that over Maricopa County, I think. Smothered it, but I got away with it. That was going to go because it's a pull.
Solid. Ball speed went up, launch came down a little bit. I know we chugged that one a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that far out line. So that was actually a pretty solid shot. Would you say that you caught that one?
Yeah.
Pretty square.
I hit it solid, yes. It felt in the club face good. So
Awesome.
it's just, so I was saying it's offline 27 yards, but
Yeah.
let's see if I can put a good move on this one. And
All right.
there we go. I can live with that power fade.
Absolutely. That was awesome. That was awesome. So another thing, consistency, and just looking at the 4 drives that we've hit, right away I can tell you're in a really good setup. I know we want to hit this brand new 0211 head on there, and I know that we're playing our new prototype head. So it'll be fun to just kind of compare and just see. But right away I can tell you that that's a pretty good setup for you.
I agree.
Awesome.
Ever since I've had the setup, I've been more consistent keeping the ball in play.
I love
Unless
it.
it's obviously a bad swing, that happens with all of us. So
So with the O211, we just have one port. The O211 is designed to launch a little bit higher with a little bit lower spin. We can put different weights in here just to kind of help with the swing weights and different reactions.
Okay.
So I'm excited to put this in here for you. I did grab that 9 just out of curiosity.
Okay.
So
I went with the 10.5 because
Yep.
I knew I smothered the ball and hit my drives lower. But now I understand, and people that watch that lesson video, is the 9 with my new move staying a little further back instead of smothering. It'll be good, I think. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see.
Absolutely, I'm excited for this, and just to kind of keep things comparable, if it's okay, I'd like to put this shaft on there
Yeah,
right
definitely.
away.
Yeah.
Ready, my friend. So we're going to throw that O211 head in there.
So it's got the same profile look as the prototype.
Yep, very comparable there.
It's a little lower on this one. All right, first time swinging with a new club, you always gotta get a feel. They don't have a magic button over here to make the result look good, so to try to sell you something. But looking down at the 9 degree, I almost like that better than my 10.5.
Nice, good swing.
I teed that a little lower and that looked better to me, I think. So
Yeah, really solid.
the launch angle is probably not what we wanted, but still pretty good.
Yep.
It's not off that much.
Good swing. Good swing. So to help a little bit, just kind of with that shot shape, I'd be curious to tweak that just a little bit.
Okay.
For you. So right now this is at 9 degrees. I'm going to loft this up just a fraction.
Okay.
By doing so, it's actually going to make this head just a little more draw bias for you. And vice versa, if we loft down, it actually opens that face, makes it a little more fade bias.
Okay.
So I'll be interested to see just kind of the reaction and if that kind of tightens things up from a shot shape standpoint for you.
Well, and then since I'm going to be playing today, I recommend you give me advice on my current
Absolutely.
head setup and see if it's optimal for me
Absolutely.
with what you're seeing.
Absolutely, and that's, I'm glad that you brought that up. You know, when you're part of the PXG brand, and this is the reason that I fell in love with the company, you know, having that relationship, you know, with your client or your customer really means a lot. And knowing that you have someone on the inside that can always help you out and always get you taken care
Right.
of. So if you ever have any questions, you can always reach out and we'll get you taken care of.
Okay, nice. So how many does it go up? 0.75?
It's a great question. So right now I lofted that up 1 degree.
1 degree.
I went with our small plus, yes sir.
Okay. A little straighter.
That one's actually a little tighter here. I'm curious to see how carrying is going to do with the ball. So, too crazy as that?
So visually, I can see that it's 10 degrees more, so it fits more my eye with my other driver head, but yep, less crazy, isn't it?
So even a little bit further on this guy. So, right away, we are seeing a little bit tighter shot shape. That spin has actually came down. We're starting to launch it, you know, at a really, really good angle. You know, and actually our speed has gone up as well. So the efficiency, catching it on the center, that's starting to go up a little bit more. So really cool things early on. How's that feel?
Feels great, and I don't think I've seen 102 in a couple years. It's been normally 98, 99, right at 100 maybe, so that's exciting there.
I love it.
Is the new head get through, you know, the swing easier compared to the prototype, or is it just I'm confident looking down at it? Because that's important.
No, absolutely, yeah. I mean, confidence is key, and we got to make sure that at the end of that shaft that looks really, really comfortable. From a reaction standpoint, we have seen a little bit higher ball speeds on this guy. So
with the club head speed.
Yep, absolutely, and that kind of translates.
What
into
was it with my prototype? I'm curious. I didn't pay attention to that part.
It's a great
We'll look at
question.
that.
Yeah, we're going to pull that up here real quick for you.
So, what are we gonna do now? You're gonna adjust my head and see if it's optimal for me, and then we can compare what you just did with that one.
Yep, absolutely. So if we look at the 4 shots that we hit right over here, you know, ball speed's relatively the same, especially even on this one, 148. The only thing that kind of stands out to me, maybe launching it just a fraction high.
But that 10.5 was probably why.
Yep, and that makes sense. Loft is the biggest contributor to height, whether it's lower or higher. But again, you're in a good setup. I know this shot right here, if we took that one out, our numbers would be a little bit better there, a little bit of a miss. But let's throw that prototype head back on there and just kind of see.
Okay. All right, so is it just the regular setup we had?
Yep, absolutely. And now that we're a little bit more loose, I always like to kind of throw our current set back up on there. Just because we're starting to kind of get that swing rocking. And I know we just put 2 really good swings on there.
So my setup now, sorry to interrupt you there, Dave,
but
good. So that weight being back, lower, is that the CG?
Correct. You nailed it. You nailed it. So if we look at the bottom of this prototype head, there's 4 different weight ports. If we see this one with the white fill, that's our heavy weight. That's 15 grams. We can put that in different ports to help with shot shapes, spins, things like that. Right now, he's got that weight forward. Generally, anytime that we bring weight closer to that face, it actually reduces the spin a little bit. So I'm excited to see this guy in action again and just kind of go from there.
See if we have to move anything. Save it with the hand. Let me get a better one on that. That'd have been left to fucking legs, Joe. On 5 in the weeds. I've always been a guy, never did really good at range sessions because I need to see what my target and visually. That's me. I'm not a range pro.
No, and actually, I mean, just from a reaction standpoint, I know that ball has a little baby draw on there and it's working just a little left. Still maybe just a touch higher than what we were seeing before, which again makes sense just because of the loft difference. But the biggest thing that's standing out to me is that spin rate number.
Yeah.
And this is the furthest ball that we've hit, carry and total. So there's something to that.
Okay. Whoop. 1. So for the viewers out there, I probably have never shared this. I was in a car wreck like 20 some years ago, T-boned, so my body gets slammed into to my left side in my door, and I've had residual problems ever since. So I'm trying to stay further back, like you see the tour guys do, back with the head. I had tended to do this and smother it. Part of that's probably because of my residual effect on my hip. It's just new body motions that I have to teach myself. And I think on that miss that you just saw, I'm staying back, but I'm not really rotating enough. Does that make sense? Probably because of this fat gut, but.
Let's go one.
That's a good launch. She up there. But the new feel, I'm staying back a little more, and there goes.
It's a good swing.
So.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I'd be curious because naturally we are seeing that ball launch a little bit higher. I'd be curious lofting this down a little bit.
Okay.
Just to see what it does to our launch angle.
Especially with the new adjustments.
Yep, absolutely. So I mean, even the shot that we just hit right there, which is just a tight little baby fade. I mean, you could play this all day. I just would be curious if we brought that down a little bit, what we would see here as a reaction.
Especially probably the rollout.
Yep.
As well.
Yep. So, absolutely. Just going to go 1 degree. We're just going to loft that down just a little bit and just see.
Okay, 1 degree down. Let's see that launching. 13.
13-1.
Numbers don't lie.
How about that?
So the rollout, yeah. Similar, but better launch angle. The wind will affect it less.
That's exactly it. If you are traveling and you're playing in different conditions, things like that, if we can get you a little more versatile, so hop out of the car, we're ready to rock. That just makes it that much better.
Yeah, Bandon Dunes in July. This will with the wind there. I think that's the best launch yet, at least visually for me. Because recently, looking for my launch window that I'm used to, and my ball is starting off higher. Where's it at?
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's still lower than, but it's better than it was.
Yep. Yep.
I mean,
So
spin rate's good.
Yep. Yep. My next thing here for you, just again out of curiosity, I mean, if we take that weight, which is in that center setting, we put that on the heel just to square up the shot a little bit more. Anytime we add a little weight to the heel, makes that toe just a little more active. Maybe square things up a little bit more. We just hit a couple shots just to see.
Let's see it, because again, the new move, I'm not squaring the face like I used to. I used to be a pull, flip, drawer.
Yeah.
And so this, haven't had less than 3 years, Dayton, and
Well, I tell you, you got a beautiful golf move, man. It's awesome. You play quite a bit in the summer up north.
yeah, I mean, with being a firefighter, I played probably 2, 3, 4 times a week, depending on my schedule, family stuff, and then
Awesome.
if I have a day off, sometimes I get 5 days in on those time off. So don't be mad at me. If you want that job, go apply.
I like it. All right, my friend, we're gonna give this a try here.
Okay.
So we put just a little more weight on that heel just to see if we can square things up a little bit more for you.
Okay. I felt my grip getting weak there, so I turned it a little bit. That was still a swing. Joe, you agree, is like the over-the-top pull that can be my tendency when I don't stay back. So I'm going to try on this one to remind myself to stay back, and let's see the result of the adjustment you made. There we go. So I stayed back. His adjustment, I think, straightened it out a little more. Still a little the butter cut, but it felt good.
So, I mean, from a numbers standpoint, they've actually kind of relatively been the same. If anything, actually, our neutral setting, our original setting, actually promoted a little bit lower spinning shot.
Okay.
So I'd like to set this back up to our original setting.
So the heavier weight
Back towards
up.
the center,
Okay.
yep, and we'll walk this back to 10.5 and just kind of go from there.
Okay. So Dayton's nervous there with whether he's doing okay with the fitting. This has been no different than the other fittings that I've had. So his knowledge is right on with my experiences from the past back home in Kansas City. So.
Now that we've brought that setting back to kind of our neutral setup, right away the numbers are actually standing out to me.
I agree. It felt better too.
Yep. And from a shot shape dispersion pattern, I mean, this is so tight. I mean, this is really, really tight. So, we picked up a little bit more on that carry. Total distance 285, so we got a lot of speed, we got a lot of distance. For me, this is a great setup for it.
Still stick with the setup. So as much as I liked, the newer head, the 0211 driver head, this is still for me. So, and that's what this fitting is about. Take your equipment, go get it checked, and make sure it's right for you, so you can get better at this game in combination with lessons. So
Well, let's hop into the 3-wood now,
Okay.
and just kind of take a peek and see what we got here.
I'm curious to see, because there's sometimes I feel like I hit this just as well as the driver, and that's probably the case with a lot of people.
Yeah, yep. Through is definitely one of those clubs. Once you got it honed in, it's a go-to.
Henrik Stenson. Nope. Probably not gonna be too bad, but
Are you kidding? No.
I take it to be in play. Again, I'm used to a different ball pattern, and it's just.
Channel your inner Joe on these 3 woods.
Oh gosh, that's true. That one didn't feel good.
Well, I'll tell you what. I grabbed our brand new 0211 3-wood here.
Okay.
Really, really cool design here. It's actually got a railing system there, which can help out of the fairway as well as the rough. Just create a little more forgiveness there.
Okay.
In terms of profile, super clean matte finish with the carbon fiber piece.
Yeah.
Fairly comparable to the driver. So be excited to put this in play. I've got you in a Diamante here.
Okay.
Fairly comparable on paper to what we have. So search this up.
Looks good, looking down profile-wise. Down through it, you mean? I'll take it. It's in play.
Maybe catch that just a little low in the face?
Yep.
Okay.
There we go. Solid-wise. Height might be a little too much. Two extremes there.
I mean, really solid. I mean, 260, just over 260 total on that guy. If we look at our spin rate number, that's the big thing that's standing out to me. Yeah, that one launched maybe just a touch high. But again, kind of with the driver, even though we're launching a little bit higher, that spin rate number is significantly lower. So we're getting quite a bit out of that. I mean, carry just shy of 245. So that one feel pretty solid?
It did on that swing, definitely. Even the first swing it did. Nothing's going to feel solid when you catch it on the bottom of the face.
Now, from a profile standpoint, just feedback from me.
Looks
with
good.
That head looks
I like
comfortable.
It. Yeah, I like
Awesome.
it better than my old 3-wood, PXG 3-wood. So.
Awesome.
Oh, you're in trouble, Joe, because they're going to let me borrow this for today.
I still feel pretty confident.
That's the best one yet. Or feel-wise to me. We'll see what the numbers show.
You got that one.
Yeah, I mean, just right away, 3 shots in. If we just look at our dispersion pattern right there, significantly tighter.
Yes.
From a reaction standpoint, that one launched a little bit lower. Still have a really good spin rate number, and we even carried that a little bit further and got a little more out of it total. So, how's the weight in that feel?
Feels good.
Does it? And the cool part, especially with fitting and when we're going through kind of the whole bag, we learn a lot about our game. And for me as a fitter, just kind of watching you swing and knowing your tendencies, it does help when we get into the higher clubs as we get deeper into the fitting. So I grabbed this shaft, just kind of strictly looking at the profile, it being kind of something that would maybe fit what we're looking for.
Yeah, Diamante 70 stiff.
Yep, and from a reaction standpoint, it's definitely standing out.
And it feels good. I can feel it through the whole swing. It feels good.
Yeah, let's go one more on there. If
Okay.
That's okay.
One off the turf. How's that?
Let's do it. Let's
right.
do it. Let's mix it up a little bit. Okay. So still, even off the turf, and that ball worked just a little left on us. So if you look at our face with half, just a touch close, which is totally okay. I think the coolest thing for me is even though that face is a little bit shut, we'll say.
Okay.
Launched a little bit lower naturally, spin was down a little bit. We still carried that significantly farther. So again, from a fitting standpoint, this club is reacting well on all of the swings that we put on it. I'd like to throw this Aldila NV green in here just to see the reaction. See if we can make it even that much better.
Okay. 75 stiff.
Yep, you nailed it. So a little bit heavier in terms of gram weight.
Yep, I can feel it already. That's only 5 grams, and I can already feel it.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Felt good though. Say that with the hands, but it turned out well. People would say good shot and they wouldn't even know.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of the game.
Yeah.
As long as we hit it where we're looking, generally we play pretty good golf. So, first impression on this? Anything stand out to you at all?
I just noticed the difference in the weight, which the results show it didn't really affect anything. So.
No, I mean, if anything, it actually got a little bit tighter. So right around 14, just shy of 3,000 there. 245 carry, 265 total. So
okay.
Yeah, fairly comparable in terms of distance and just kind of number reaction. So I think we'll go one more on that and just see. Yep. This is our setup for sure.
Yeah, that's the setup there.
Yep. 270 on that guy off the tee. Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt you, but just for my curiosity, I can order these online, and I can request this setup. Or are you going to give me that information?
Yeah.
When I leave, so.
Yep, absolutely, and that's kind of the cool part, you know, the communication aspect between the customer and the fitter. You know, we're always here for you. We're always willing to help. So in terms of getting the specs, absolutely, you know, we'll definitely shoot that over. Something really, really cool, just by adding a little weight, just to see the dispersion get a little bit tighter, for me, just tells me this is a better setup for us.
I agree.
So, let's hit a couple more. Let's hit a couple hybrids.
Okay. So this is the 22-degree PXG hybrid 0317.
I'd like to point out one thing, Steve.
Do it.
Real men play long irons, not hybrids.
Well, you can't say that, Justin Thomas, so. Land like a butterfly with sore feet. So it's got the rails like you were mentioning.
Yep. Very comparable to the 3-wood, just to kind of create a little more forgiveness there. Differences between our first gen and this gen. If you look at the face and the toe, a little bit deeper, which can create a little more forgiveness as well. So I'll be excited to just kind of see that setup and just kind of see some of the results.
Lowy Buttafuoco.
So now, because you know we're kind of hitting a hybrid, and this is 22 degrees. Generally, this club is kind of set for a distance. We're not necessarily looking to mash it as far as we can. So, real quick, just for you, what's kind of a set number that you'd like to see that 22 go?
This is right around 200,
Okay.
205. I think I look at that number, and
Yeah.
that's for me. So.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll use it to just get it and play off the tee on a shorter par 3 or 4, as well as trying to get into a par 5
Absolutely.
for position wise. Turn away right.
Okay. So first impressions of this guy, just kind of feedback for the head shape, overall size. Anything stand out to you at all?
I'd say the smaller profile of the first gen hybrids, for some reason the smaller heads fit my eye.
Okay.
With just like I think any brand.
Yeah.
It's weird. And as I get into this one that seems to have a little bigger head, I don't know. I haven't hit a good one yet. I don't know if I'm getting tired or let's see. Let's give me one more with it.
Okay. I like it.
There we go. Better swing on it. I think it was swings more than anything.
That's your 205 club and you're netting at 236? Okay. Show off.
Well, the carry's 219, so what was the carry with my old?
Yeah, and I'd like to pull that up actually just to kind of see shots right here that we hit with our current setup. On average, about 207 carry, 220 total. So kind of right in that ballpark that you kind of feel comfortable with. Pretty good numbers across the board. It's getting up in the air. So we've got no issues there. What I'd be curious about, and I just grabbed a shaft again, just to kind of get a feel for this head. I want to throw that Algoa NV green in there right away, just because we saw some really cool things with the 3-wood.
Yep.
Sometimes shaft profiles can kind of taper their way down into the bag and react well. So let's throw this on there.
All right, let's go from the Camry engine to the. I guess that's the way to kind of give it a comparison,
Yeah, people don't understand. The club head may be that Ferrari body, but that shaft is the engine. You got to match that Ferrari engine to that Ferrari body.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks, Joe.
For you,
I'm more like
a Datsun.
what was the car that would blow up when you hit in the back of it?
Yeah, the Gremlin.
Yeah. All right, now we're going with the Aldila, if I'm pronouncing that right,
Yep. Nailed it.
85 hybrid stiff. So a little more weight.
A little more weight, yes sir.
Something about the weight in it that, I don't know, I feel through the swing better.
Hey Steve, did you want this recording?
Oh, yeah.
It's recording.
Oh. He's fired as my producer slash editor. That's the best swing through it. Yeah, I rotate it better.
Yeah, so another one of those where, you know, we added a little weight there and you know, very well the shaft characteristics on that, you know, just work really, really well for your golf swing. So, you know, whether it's a loading aspect or just kind of an overall profile, you know, it's tough to not say that this is significantly tighter. You know, we're still launching it right around 17. Spin's still really, really good. I know we're getting a little bit more out of it. So it might be something where we maybe need to adjust the loft a little bit just to kind of hit that spot. So I'd be curious to add just a little loft there.
Okay.
And just kind of see how that reacts.
So where are we going up? Maybe a degree, half?
Yep, we're just going to go up 1 degree.
Okay.
We'll start small and just kind of see if we start hitting our mark a little bit more.
Dispersion's better. Feels better anyway. Spoke too soon on that one, folks.
All right. There you go. There you go. Okay. So, just to see, now we added a little loft there, so naturally we're going to launch this a little bit higher. Spin actually stayed relatively the same, which is cool, but our carry number came down. And based on the amount of speed that you produce, this would actually make a little more sense to me.
Okay.
We're kind of creeping into that 220, maybe that's getting just a touch long. I think the cool thing that I'm seeing with this is, again, this is another club that no matter the conditions, we'll say, whether it's 10, 15 mile an hour winds, even though we're launching this a little bit higher, I see this going right through the wind and having control. So,
yeah.
From a comfort level, does this feel more comfortable?
Yeah,
than
that
where we
setup,
started?
just like the 3-wood with all the shaft, feels a lot better.
Awesome,
So-
awesome. Yeah, I mean, this would definitely be my recommendation.
Okay.
We just lofted that guy up just a little bit for you with that Aldila Green 85 stiff.
Okay.
So,
Perfect.
feels solid. Feels solid.
All right, thanks to Dayton for helping fit me and go through my bag with me and figure out what shafts and setups are best for me. So you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just want to do a quick run through just kind of some things that we saw. You know, in terms of irons, currently we're playing those 0211s. You know, just from a result standpoint, I saw these Gen 3 0311P irons reacting really, really well. With that same shaft, you know, this 120 is kind of your setup,
Okay.
Which is awesome. You know, just kind of get that clarification to come in here. So I really, really like this setup for you.
So I like that comment because as you age, you got to get this stuff checked up if you want to continue to be a good golfer and play competitive golf like I'm going to get back into now. So yeah, thanks for that.
Absolutely. And then, you know, kind of diving into that driver piece, you're in a really, really good setup. Your original fitter did a great job getting you dialed. So I'm excited for that club to continue to progress and get better. In terms of a 3-wood, I had you in this 0211, brand new 3-wood at 15 degrees. It's got that railing system there with the Aldila Green shaft. We saw some really, really cool results there.
Yes, I agree.
And then, yep, absolutely. And then kind of diving into that hybrid, which is the 0211, 22 lofted up just a little bit, so playing 23 with that Aldila NV 85 stiff. So
Would you agree that shaft would probably fit well in my 19 as well?
Absolutely.
Because it's done it with 2 of the clubs that are considered like fairway woods or rough wood, but yeah.
No, you nailed it. And,
Okay.
and the reaction that we see, especially with the hybrids, very, very consistent. So, you know, I could throw a 19, a 17, maybe even a 25 on there, I anticipate some really, really good results. So
Okay.
I'm excited about this whole setup. I appreciate you coming in and excited.
Well, I appreciate you wanting to be in front of the camera and explain things, and I hope my viewers got good information from this. Go get a lesson first, but once you get better at the game, you need to be fit, in my opinion. But thanks to PXG for allowing us to film, and then thanks to Dayton and Minnesota Midwest boy just like me. Joe, you're from the Midwest now, you live out here in Phoenix, but anyway, I always like to, PTSD is what this channel is about, and stresses of life. We all go through them. How old are you?
24.
24. Even you have stresses in life.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to teach people and to be aware of those stresses so you can have a better home life, work life, family life, friends life. That's what this channel is about, trying to get the word out there that this is real. And it's just like concussions in football, dehydration in football. No one really want to talk about it. I'm just trying to get this word out for my brothers and sisters in the fire service, but also just the general public, especially people who play golf that aren't in my profession. Let's just have a good time, use golf to decompress. And I love you all. Stay self-aware.